What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another video. I'm Logan Cole, and today I'm going to be going over my first month down of my 12 habits in 12 months. So one of the things I kind of decided to do this year with giving myself a bit of direction and giving content for you guys, as well as me being able to put stuff out there and have like a bit of direction for my year, is to do 12 different habits in 12 months. So over the period at the start of each month, I start a new habit. And now that the month of January is gone, we're actually a couple days into February, the first habit that I took on was actually intermittent fasting. Now with intermittent fasting, there is a lot of like spread out opinion of like what is considered fasting, what you can have during a fast, the hours that you do a fast, the days that you do a fast, how many days, all that kind of stuff. So I decided to go with a pretty common way of fasting, and that was a 16 and 8. One of the main things I'm also trying to do this year, and what I kind of like put out on my Instagram, and if you're not following me, definitely jump over to my Instagram page and follow on that, is that I'm trying to show how to make fitness an easy kind of like integration into your life. So there definitely were a couple of times during this kind of like January month that I wasn't exactly able to do the fasting, I guess, the whole time, or do it correctly sometimes. Especially with how like early sometimes I was getting up. Well, pretty much all the time, Monday to Friday, I get up at like 4:10 in the morning, and I've been pretty consistent with that lately. So I get a lot hungrier kind of like in the morning, especially when hours go past more than what a normal person would before eating. As well as that, like most of the time I would be getting home pretty late. So with a fast, I'll do my 16 and 8, which is like finish eating at 12 o'clock, start eating at 12 o'clock, and then finish eating by 8 o'clock. But the thing was, some days I would be going back to work at like 1:30 and not finishing till like 7:30. But really, up until then, you were supposed to be only drinking this stuff, black coffee. And what I put in it to kind of be able to lessen the bitterness of it, I would just stick 2 sweeteners in it that I bought, very cost-free. I've had these sweeteners for so long. And the whole concept behind, the thing behind fasting, there's a rule that if you're remaining under 50 calories, it's still considered fasting. So if you had this with the 2 sweeteners, then, or you could have an energy-free. As for my training while I was fasting, it seemed pretty good. I actually really enjoyed it. Usually when I didn't have that kind of structure of knowing I didn't eat till 12, or some days for me 11:30, I was going to McDonald's, grabbing a coffee, grabbing hash browns, and then I would just feel super unproductive and pretty much lethargic when I got to training, despite consuming all those calories. All that energy was going to burning the food. The only time I really do think that I struggled, and I noticed this, was when at training I actually did a longer run. It was like a 1K run, and then some high volume weightlifting, and then back into the 1K run, and I really had nothing. I wouldn't say there was any difference from any other morning. I really wouldn't. I didn't have a different dinner the night before. I didn't consume any more caffeine or less caffeine. I was staying pretty consistent with that. And I just felt maybe if I had carbohydrates or fats to burn, mainly fats, with such a, I think it was like a 46-minute workout, I may have been able to sustain that energy a little bit more. Then we kind of go back to the whole lifestyle thing, and because I was training at 9:30, and by the time I kind of finished there, it would be 11, I was really hungry after those hard sessions, and I'd been awake for so much longer and burnt more energy because I'd been up since 4. So I was really hungry. So I kind of just decided, oh, okay, I'm not going to be 100% strict on it. I'm just going to fast for that amount of time and then eat at 11:30 once I get home, have a shower and all that kind of stuff. And it really pretty much worked. If you did kind of like push past that and stopped yourself from eating, I think it just becomes a kind of tedious thing where you're just waiting to eat rather than actually kind of getting any benefit out of it, really. And to be honest, if I had to say any benefit came from trying out intermittent fasting, it was none of the benefits that I was told about. It was more the productivity side of things when I got home. Rather than eating and stuffing my face, I was actually getting stuff done because I guess I wasn't also thinking about what kind of food. I just knew do not eat until 12 or at least after CrossFit. Other than that, the real benefits that you hear about people like losing a lot of weight and stuff like that, I already knew what was going to happen here, because for me, I was just going to be eating my normal calories, doing my normal training, and not really doing anything else other than just sticking to kind of that time in between meals, like my last meal and my first meal. So what happened to my weight while I was intermittent fasting? Zero change. Nothing changed with the intermittent fasting, because in theory, if you are consuming the same amount of calories, whether you consume, if your maintenance is 2,500 calories and you eat all that in a 1 hour span, your body still needs to burn that. And if you've fasted and then you eat that, your body has burned off those calories, yes, but then you're consuming them again. You're consuming the same amount of calories. Your body is still burning the same amount of calories, okay? I also went down this path like the weekends and stuff like that, and I was like, hearing a couple of other things about fasting, and they were like, oh, you can get benefits from fasting like one day. So I'm like, I'm gonna still be living my life as normal, as in, I still went out and had dinner with friends. If something came up and I was going to be eating after 8 o'clock, I would do it, but then I would still stick to that 12 o'clock starting point. And then that would just mean I was fasting for 14 hours. And to be honest, that's not going to make much of a difference, especially if you're consuming the same amount of calories. Most of the time, it's just going to be people losing weight and seeing crazy benefits from it because they skip a whole meal rather than eating all 3 meals or snacking. They just eat between an 8-hour block, and most people, to be honest, can't really eat enough already, let alone in that block. So really, one of the main things that is happening is when people become aware of their eating and they start actually tracking their food, whether they do keto, whether they do intermittent fasting, whether they do low carb, people are actually becoming aware of their food, which is bloody hell like one of the main things you need to do. And that's where you start to see the benefits, because you start hitting protein, you start eating carbs, all that kind of stuff, and you're training as well. So that's the main thing. So my recommendation, if you want to take on intermittent fasting or any kind of diet, give it a go. If it's going to be something that causes you or makes you adhere to a diet better and gives you structure around your day, which you don't have now, then give it a go. All the superhuman effects that all these intermittent fasting zealots claim occurs when you're actually doing it, it won't happen. It doesn't happen. I would say yes, it improves focus, but only because your body isn't actually processing food in the morning. So yes, you're going to feel super on top of the world if you have work to do, and you also consume coffee, especially if you consume black coffee. It just goes straight into your stomach. It's the first thing that hits you. It doesn't have to process food and stuff first. So yes, give it a go. Give any diet a go, for that matter, if it means you're going to control your portions and start living a bit of a healthier lifestyle. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel, and there'll be plenty of stuff coming up. This month that we're in now, February, I'm going alcohol free. Follow me on Instagram. I've got Twitter also at Logan Cole PT, on Instagram at Logan Cole Official. And then also my business page is on there as well. I got clothing coming out pretty soon. Just need to work on doing a shoot with that too. So until the next video, guys, catch us later.